Restoration of the Tower of Babel, Acts 2, 1 through 4 and verse 6 says, when the day of Pentecost had fully come, they were all with one accord in one place, and suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled the whole house where they were sitting. Then there appeared to them divided tongues as of fire, and one sat upon each of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit, and they all began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. It's like Tower of Babel, all those speeches were separated, and now they're coming together. And when this sound occurred, the multitude came together and were confused because everyone heard them speaking his own language. Love it.
It's amazing. Amazing. And so this is another restoration from that same time. And this is an intervention / restoration. I was going to separate it out, but decided to do it together. And this was a question that someone put out last week, was about the 3,000 who died at Sinai. And so original Pentecost was the giving of the law on Mount Sinai in God's cycle of time. And so we understand Moses came down, he found them, worshiping the calf. And I'll read this here. And he, Aaron, received the gold from their hand and fashioned it with a graving tool and made a golden calf. Remember Nephilim and all that worship. And they said, these are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. And then when Moses came down, he said, who is on the Lord's side? The sons of Levi came. And he said, go for it. The sons of Levi did according to the word of Moses. And that day there were 3,000 men of the people who fell. And again, we could go, oh, it is so horrible. And it is. Death is. But God had more in mind. And so we see the Pentecost, Acts 2:41. So those who received his word were baptized, and there were added that day about 3,000 souls. And so the Pentecost was the restoration of the 3,000 who were killed back then.